Good afternoon, everyone. Here with another edition of our NASCAR for Beginners podcast. Running a few minutes late, but fixing to do something a little different. Going to get a woman's perspective on the world of NASCAR. So, going to invite my wife. I'm going to put her up here. There she is, right there. That's my wife, Faith. She's got some good insights. I think that will help maybe some other people that watch this that are new, kind of get you a different perspective of mine. So, just figured we'd try something a little different for once on this. So how's your day going? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. There's a delay on yours, I think, but that's fine. So I just,
Same here.
yeah. So we'll just jump into it, and I'll go ahead and put these questions up on the screen, just to kind of get going. When would you say you started paying attention to NASCAR, and why?
So NASCAR's always been in the background since I was little. My dad would watch it on the weekends every so often, but I think it's become more prominent in the last 5 years, and that was mainly just as a way to spend more time with you.
Well, that's pretty good. I never even knew your dad watched it. That was kind of crazy when you said that. So doesn't seem like something
Yeah,
your
he
dad
wasn't
would
an
have been.
avid fan, but we did. It was.
Yeah. So um, you've gotten into it over the last 5 years. I know a couple years ago we took a trip to Charlotte, to the NASCAR Hall of Fame. What did you think of the NASCAR Hall of Fame?
So I was skeptical at first, but it was actually fun. It was informative, it was educational, it was interactive, which was a major plus for someone who's, wasn't really thrilled about walking around a building all day looking at cars.
Yeah, but there it's more than just cars. But we'll get into that next here. What were some of the things you liked about the Hall of Fame, and did you think it was a good cost for what you got?
So I like that it was hands on, and not just a bunch of reading and looking at stuff through glass. You actually get to, walk on the track banks to see what it's like on the inclines. Um, they have a movie when you get your own pit pass. Um, you get to see the inside of cars. You get to see the cars through generations. You get to sit in the seat of a regular car versus a NASCAR car. You get to, do a driver simulation. You get to do the pit crew simulation. Um, you get to do the broadcast simulation. So with it being more hands-on, you get to see what goes on basically behind the scenes, as well as what it is like for a driver to experience things as far as, like I said, the embankments. You don't realize how crazy steep they are until you're trying to walk up that embankment.
Yeah,
Um,
some
so
of
as
them are
far as
pretty
the
steep.
cost goes, yeah, yeah, they were crazy. Um, and then as far as the cost, anywhere else you can go for, I think we paid $100 for the both of us to have the big package, which allowed you to make a virtual scrapbook by scanning the QR codes and adding them to your book. You get to do all the experiences. It gives you a free meal, and you get a percentage off if you buy anything from the gift shop at the end. All that for $100. There's nowhere I know of that you can go and get that experience like that. I mean, you sure as heck ain't getting it at Disney. So
I'm going to remind you of that. When you keep throwing up, we're going to Disney, we're going to Disney. I'm going to remind you that Disney's not. We can go to the Hall of Fame cheaper. Yeah, like I said, I mean, it wasn't just kind of one of those walkthrough things. I mean, you're not done in 30 minutes. I mean, this thing was like 3 or 4 different levels, if I'm not mistaken, at least 3. Where'd you go?
yeah, you're breaking up on my end, so I had to open the other door so I could hear what you were saying.
Oh, okay. I just said it's not something you can do in 30 minutes. It's like a 3-floor thing. You're going to be there for a couple hours. So, and for anybody that's going, because she mentioned you get a free meal out of it. It's a sandwich and a drink and a bag of chips. Don't go expecting that you're going to get some Texas Roadhouse or some rolls or something like that now. Okay. It's just a sandwich, but it's a free meal. So next we've got, let's see. What was the first race you attended? Yeah, I know you're frozen. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause this one here. We're going to try to figure out what's going on with our internet. Apparently we're freezing up between each other. So we'll try to get this back up. We've got it all here. We're going to try to get it back up and running another day. So
just keep going. I'll come in here.
Okay. Well, she's just going to come in here. Let her grab a chair, and we're just going to do it off of one computer then. So we'll just fill time with me talking. For those of you who know me, know that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
You want to go get a chair?
There are no chairs.
It's the bar stool?
It's fine.
Okay. So we'll kind of turn it a little bit, or you can sit.
I'm just gonna sit back here.
Okay. Let's see.
You're good.
Okay. So we're going to backtrack up a little bit and go back up to this. The cost for the experience I mentioned, it's not just a quick in and out process. You're there for a couple hours.
Oh yeah. Expect to spend the most of your day there.
Yeah. And the cool thing is it's not like other Hall of Fames that I've been to. It changes every 6 months. There's different things put in every year. They have a big thing where they do a Hall of Fame class.
Mm-hmm.
So they put a bunch of stuff up for that Hall of Fame class. So it's interactive, and it's also a living Hall of Fame. It changes throughout the year. So you could go in January and then go back in November and it'd be different. So that's kind of one thing I really like about it. Next question was, what was the first race you attended in person?
Bristol Motor Speedway.
Bristol Motor Speedway, also known as the Last Great Coliseum. And they have their own little tagline phrase. They have a big sign out in front. What's the sign say?
It's Bristol, baby.
There you go. It's one of the iconic venues in NASCAR. The Last Great Coliseum. They call it the Thunderdome, and we'll get into why they call it the Thunderdome here in a few questions. So Bristol was the first one. What was the pre-race experience like? And would you say somebody with no NASCAR brand new to the sport. You were pretty new. You'd seen it on TV, but you'd never really been to a race until then. Was there something for people of all levels of fandom to keep them entertained pre-race?
So I have really bad social anxiety. I don't do well in crowds. I have panic attacks. So I was super overwhelmed when we drove up and I saw in my brain, millions of people that were out there. But it was surprisingly easy to get sucked into the whole experience once we got through the gates. There's stuff for kids. There's a lot of hands-on, even if you're just a kid at heart. There's discussion panels with the drivers where they're up close and personal. There's shopping. There's food. And as any major event, there's always people watching. So yeah, it ended up, even with someone as crippling as mine is, to be able to enjoy myself once we got in there and started going through all of the vendors and shopping and food and activities.
But shopping, what kind of shopping is there to really do?
So they have the merchandise haulers that has all of, each driver has their own hauler with all of their merchandise, which is obviously going to be on the more expensive side. But then they have a section that's more of the mom and pop vendors, flea market-y kind of vendors. So if you're not wanting to spend, merchandise money, they still have plenty of items there that are affordable. For example, I got 2 Raceway shirts for, I think they were on sale for $15 because they were the season before or whatever. But it doesn't say that they were season before, where if I'd have got it at the merchandise hauler, I'd have probably paid $30 for one.
Yeah, not only do the drivers all have the trucks there, they also, if you go up to buy something, there'll be signs out there and certain drivers will be signing autographs.
But keep in mind, some of those drivers charge for their autographs and some do not.
Yeah. Some will charge. Some want you to buy a item from their merchandise hauler. Some have a limited amount. Your more popular drivers, your Chase Elliott's, your Ryan Blaney's, your Logano's, people like this that are Kyle Larson, they may have 30 wristbands that they give out. So if you're 31st in line, you're not getting a wristband.
Right.
But everybody has their drivers in NASCAR normally, and it's just a matter of, is your driver going to be available that day? You just don't know. It's kind of hit or miss. Now, I will say that some drivers, when they're going to a track, if you can get there ahead of time, sometimes the drivers are doing meet and greets at a sponsor that's in the area.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of them have done it at AutoZone, O'Reilly's, things like that. So you can always check the calendar and schedule for that too. Should have thrown this in earlier, but you do have a favorite driver you root for and watch and keep up with. And who is that?
Blaney.
Yeah. Ryan Blaney from just outside Columbus, Ohio. I think some people, when we first moved up here in 2020, said they nicknamed him the Columbus Comet, which is whatever the case may be. But yeah, so that's her guy, is Ryan Blaney. Mine, of course, if y'all watched enough of this, is Josh Berry, who they are actually pseudo teammates. Blaney drives for Team Penske, and Josh Berry drives for the Wood Brothers, and they're kind of build the cars in the Penske shop. So it's an alliance they have. So works out. It's pretty good. What do we got next? So going to Bristol, obviously you went because I'm into NASCAR and you just wanted to go and see what it was all about. What were your expectations going there, and how did your perception of it change afterwards?
So going into it, I was really not looking forward to it. This is going to be boring, watching cars drive in circles for 3 to 5 hours. There's no television, commentary to break things up, change your scene. But surprisingly, once that race got started, you couldn't have pulled me away from it. It was a blast. And before I knew it, I think it was a 4-hour race, was over and we were headed home. So
It was about 4.5 hours, somewhere right in that range. Bristol night race in September is the one we went to.
it's amazing.
All lit up at night, the lights on, the cars underneath the lights. Just a spectacle. It's one of the marquee events on the NASCAR calendar. So that was her first experience. And I took her, I was thinking we'd go there because I was like, okay, I can take her to a couple different places. So let's go to Bristol because it's normally the most action-packed, beating, bumping, banging, entertainment, the whole race. Well, it just so happened that race, a certain driver by the name of Kyle Larson, out of 500 laps, led like 397 or some insane amount of them, and lapped almost everybody. I was just like, well, she's gonna hate this event because it's boring. There's nothing going on. You're just watching the 5-car pass everybody. So I was kind of like, well, we'll see. But even with a race like that, you were still like, I'll go back next year. I'll go back.
Absolutely. I think it was entertaining for me because I was able to keep up with my car, and see where it was at all times, being that it was a smaller track. It was a little difficult to figure out because yes, he may be passing the number such and such car. But I was, it was like, okay, but how many laps ahead was that such and such car?
Well, he was passing that 51 car a lot.
Okay, well, that 51 car should have just stayed home because I could have driven faster.
That guy had a rough go of it that day.
But of course, they have the leaderboard in the middle so you can see where it's at and keep up.
Yeah. Sure.
So yeah, it was even without any wrecks, bumps, bangs, booms. I had a blast. I would absolutely go back every year if I could.
Yeah, and if you want to know what I was mentioning about Bristol being crazy, you can get on YouTube on the NASCAR channel and just look up Bristol Motor Speedway altercations between drivers, and there's hundreds of them, fights after races. It's crazy. That's where the whole phrase "it's Bristol, baby" came from, because somebody wrecked somebody and he said, well, it's Bristol, baby. And that's just kind of stuck. I mentioned Bristol was loud. The Thunderdome is what they call it. And I'll set the stage before you say how loud it was. Bristol is in the mountains in pretty much the Tennessee-Virginia border. It sits in the mountains and it's built down. So it's like this little bitty hole, and then all of a sudden the stadium rises above it, and the stadium is massive. When she was talking about the crowd, it felt like 1 million people. It was 1/10. There's about 150,000 at a Bristol race most of the time. So, but even like she said, with that many people, it didn't feel overwhelming. There was still enough space and you could still move around. But how loud is Bristol? How loud was Bristol?
That was loud. Once those cars started, you could feel it shaking inside your body. There was no talking during this race. Anytime I had a question or wanted to discuss where a driver was at, it had to be done through a text message or a screen grab note for him to read. We had ear protection, and my ears were still ringing when we left. So yeah, it was crazy loud.
Yeah, Bristol's loud. One where we had the little squishy.
Yeah, stick them in your ear holes.
Bristol's one that if we go back, we're buying the over-the-ear ones, because I mean, literally, we could only talk, I think, during the stage breaks.
During stage breaks was the only time. Yeah.
And there was only 2 of those.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, you got to remember when those cars cranked up, that was 670 horsepower. This year they're going to 750, so it's going to be even louder.
Oh, I want to go back so bad. Yeah,
well, Bristol's definitely a bucket list again, because Bristol's phenomenal. We'll get into more about Bristol and the other stuff here in a few too. I mentioned about 150,000 people at that race. That's typical for a NASCAR race. You're going to have anywhere between 75 to 150. Daytona, you'll get upwards of 200,000 people. Anything rude? I mean, you hear rude or weird issues with fans because you hear about baseball teams and football teams where after the game, such and such team won, and this guy punched a fan of the other team. Or, I mean, I've never seen any of it, but did you notice any? You people watch more than I do, so I'm more busy trying to look around and see where's the driver or where's the beer vendor. But you're always looking at people. So did you ever notice?
Oh, absolutely not. No. When we were standing in line waiting for signatures and merchandise, people are talking like they've been friends for years. We stopped to use the restroom, and I liked some guy's shirt and made a comment. We were talking about, different shirts, different guys driving. His wife walked up, and if you've ever been to a venue where there's alcohol and a woman is talking to a man and his wife walks up, it can get a little hairy. She just joined in the conversation like we had been BFFs forever. And then once we got in the stands, it was more of the same. I met the poster child for NASCAR at this race, and I turned around to tell him he was the poster child for NASCAR. And not only did he thank me, I got to hear family stories about him and his family in NASCAR, and never thought he was, or thought I was being rude to him, or people around us were all talking to each other about the race and different things. I saw people, literally, it was like a family get together with the family you like. So
yeah,
nothing rude, nothing unruly.
Yeah, that guy. That guy was out there.
He was amazing.
When you think NASCAR, everybody has this, I don't know, redneck
Preconception.
Yeah, you have a conception of who the fans of the drivers are like. They're these old hillbilly dudes. Well, this guy did not do anything to extinguish that flame. Okay, this dude had the mutton chops. He had the mullet.
The Jerry curl mullet.
Yeah. He was definitely business in the front, party in the back.
The wraparound sunglasses.
Actually, I think this dude was party anywhere. Because not only in the middle of talking about family stuff with my wife, he's reaching down into the cooler and pulling out buzz balls, and they're doing shots. So he was out there. He was great, and I think his buddy actually fell asleep.
Yeah.
Halfway through the race. I don't know how he slept, but
well, I think there was enough alcohol to put him.
I don't think he slept. He passed out. Let's just call it a spade right there. But yeah, I mean, it just seems like everybody I went to the race with our son Bryson over in St. Louis, and we were sporting our Kevin Harvick gear when he was still racing. We were sitting next to Denny Hamlin fans and Kyle Busch fans. Nobody was fighting each other.
Yeah, I was sitting beside a Hamlin fan at the Michigan race, and we had a conversation through the whole thing, and no one was ever mad at the other one for dogging the other driver.
No, and you do. You talk trash to the other people. Oh, your driver wrecked and blah, 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 blah. Nobody gets mad. They're just like, oh, well.
He sucked today.
Trust me, I know about sucking today. My driver had a rough go last year, but it is what it is. That's what's fun about it. So, how do you feel the cost of going to a race equals the amount of entertainment you get, not just for the race, for the whole experience? Because I've always told you, I think NASCAR is an event, not a race. It's an event. You don't go to a football game 4 hours before the game starts normally.
Well, I mean, you tailgate, but
right, but I keep telling you the race is at 2. We need to be there at 10, and you're like, why? And then you were like, now I see why.
I get it. Yeah.
So the cost for what you get from pre-race through the race, how would you say it is? Is it fair? Is it too costly?
Oh, no. It's cheaper than any large venue event tickets, that or any event that we've ever been to. Our tickets were free because we use the fan app.
Real quick before you go on, if you want to know that, go watch previous episodes of my NASCAR for Beginners. It'll explain the fan app for you.
I highly recommend the fan app. We have been able, if last year would have panned out without new grandbabies and weddings, We would have seen 3 races last year and paid for 0 tickets. But anyway, most of the tracks, you can bring in your own cooler with food and beer. So if we would have done that, we'd have had free tickets, free food, free beer. The most expensive part would have been travel and the hotel. And of course, the hotels are obviously going to be expensive because it's race weekend. But again, like I just said previously, there's nowhere that you can go for a venue like that, for an experience like that, and pay that amount. I mean, even when we bought tickets for a race, I think we paid $150 for 2 tickets near the.
No, I just bought 2 tickets. This is the first 2 tickets we've had to buy.
Yeah.
And I bought them for Martinsville, Virginia. And it was $112. That's tax, title, everything right there.
Okay, so it's still basically 100.
We're sitting in row 3 on the aisle near the start finish line.
Okay, so I mean, where else are you going to go that cheap, that close to the track? I mean,
I mean, it's worth it. The $112 for. You can also pay more to go pre-race. They have walks through the garage. You can add stuff onto your tickets. We normally don't because we normally tool around with the fans out in the fan zone and stuff like that. When we go to Martinsville, y'all definitely tune in because we will be going live a few times and posting videos to YouTube for that. But so I mean, for the pre-race, the race, it's good value, I think. Hotels are expensive. You are 100% correct. If you're used to staying, let's just say,
especially if you're bougie like me and won't stay in anything that may have pets that are in the hotel room with you.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. Like, let's say a Super 8 is like $60 a night. If you go to a Super 8 on a NASCAR weekend, it's going to be about $150 to $200 a night.
And every single hotel in the area is booked.
Yeah.
So don't try to change it once you get there.
Right. If you use the fan rewards when the tickets come out for purchase, if you're going to go to a race the following year, get your tickets and immediately go on, find a hotel near there, book it. If you don't want to pay for it up front, look for one that's prepaid. That's what we do. We look for hotels that are like, you can pay when you get there. We just book it to save it. And even then, it's not cheap. So that's the most expensive is the travel.
Yeah.
But like for us from Columbus, even Charlotte was like 8 hours.
Yeah.
And then Bristol was actually 6. It's actually closer back. So, I mean, it's a day trip. You could get down there in a day, spend one night and drive home. But we'll get into more of why we don't do that here in a few. So as for a family, obviously our children are older, but let's say they were in high school. Would you still think the cost is good for the 4 of us to go to a NASCAR race?
Oh yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Again, even though my daughter's not into any kind of sport whatsoever, she would still find something to entertain her while we were there. Again, there's shopping in the fan area. There's food. There's people watching. So she would have something to do. And then during the race, if she got bored, she could go back down as a teenager, obviously, and just tool around in the fan area because this stays open through the whole race. And of course, our son he would have sat through the race itself.
Yeah.
I've seen families out there with like babies in body carriers, toddlers, teenagers, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa. I personally would not take my infant or toddler because, like I said, with Bristol alone, we had ear protection and my ears were still ringing when we left. Not to mention, it's a long day for younger kids. Some parents have that, tenacity to be able to handle that. I'm too old at this point in my life. Yeah. And I don't even think in my younger days I would have wanted to deal with it. But there's absolutely people that have babies to family reunion, basically. So it's definitely a family event.
I mean, we have almost a 3-year-old granddaughter.
I would not take her.
Oh, me neither. That kid wears me out in our living room. I can imagine taking her around a whole racetrack. I mean, I don't know. She's weird though. She's the one that at 1-year-old pushed her stroller through the Columbus Zoo.
Well, yeah.
So she's a little different, but yeah, she wears me out in the living room. So what other races have you've been to, you've been to, and then what are some on your quote unquote NASCAR bucket list? Some racetracks you just think would be fun to go sit and watch a race.
So technically, I've been to 2 races. I say 1.5 because the other race that I got to go to was Michigan, and I got sick from the heat and ended up spending half the race underneath the bleachers trying not to die. But we did go to the Michigan race. It was still fun, the part that I got to experience. It was not as fun for me as Bristol, but it was still fun. My bucket list, I like more of the short tracks and the crazy shaped tracks. So Dover's on my list, Pocono's on my list, Richmond, Darlington, and I've said it multiple times. I could go to Bristol every single year and be a very happy woman. And it's not just because of the Bristol race. And most of these racetracks, guys, if you're trying to get your wife interested in going to a NASCAR race, do like my husband did. We make a vacation out of it. We usually take a long weekend or a full week. We pick the track, and then I start looking at different little areas that have like the downtown shopping with the little boutiques, cool food places. When we did the Charlotte and Bristol trip, we ended up going to all the race shops. And we got to see some of them practicing their pit stops. We got to see some of them working on their cars, loading their haulers to go to the Bristol race. And I don't know many women out there that wouldn't be enticed by, if we go to this race, there's shopping nearby. So yeah, I mean.
Yeah, that's the one thing with NASCAR is almost all, well, if not all of the tracks are not in the city. They're out.
Right.
Because they're so loud, people don't want that. Charlotte is one that's pretty close to Charlotte, but it's still technically Concord, North Carolina, about 15 minutes away from Charlotte. Atlanta is even south of Atlanta. Texas is outside of Fort Worth. So they're not like right in the cities. One that's probably the closest, I think, is Nashville. That's pretty close to downtown. But there's all little towns around there. Michigan, we found a breakfast place. Phenomenal.
Man.
The Wooden Spoon or something. The Brooklyn, Michigan, the scenery out there, the Irish Hills.
Yeah.
We went to the race and then we turned around and drove back the following weekend because we wanted to go to different parts.
Yeah. Most of the racetracks have the towns around them that, offer vacation type stuff that's not necessarily NASCAR related. That did help in the beginning when he was taking me to my first race. He's like, look at all the shopping. And I was like, all right, here's the deal. We can go to a race every year. Now, granted, I ended up liking NASCAR, but I don't want every single vacation to be a NASCAR trip. So we compromised and we booked the NASCAR trip. And then we booked the vacation around that so that there's an actual vacation and then there's the vacation for the race all rolled into one. And we were both happy by the end of the trip.
Yeah, because you can do a NASCAR trip and go Friday, Saturday, Sunday because they have 3 classes.
Right.
We don't. We go, we get the Sunday race. We normally drive in maybe Friday-ish.
Sometimes Thursday or Friday.
Sometimes Thursday. We try to give ourselves a day to kind of, get used to the surroundings. Where's the track from the hotel? Is there a shuttle? Do we need to drive? Martinsville, we got a hotel probably about a mile from the
Yeah, so
track.
we're
We're just going to
walking.
walk. But you look around, and then after the race on Sunday, we obviously go back to the hotel and sleep.
Yeah.
And then we check out of the hotel and we leave and we just go wherever we want. And then we just look for a hotel when we're tired. That's just how we make it work. We normally do the race and then take the following week off of work, to do our stuff. Whatever we want to do, even if we want to come back to Columbus and have just a week to sit around and relax, fine. But normally we go tool around and look in different areas and find little downtown. She loves to look in the little old downtowns. That's one reason you liked Bristol so much was, Bristol is known as the home of country music, the birthplace. I know everybody says, Nashville, but Bristol was the original. There's a place there we ate at. The food was whatever. But it was more of the nostalgia that it's a hamburger place right there in downtown Bristol. That was the last known place Hank Williams Sr. was seen alive. That's the last meal he ate, and then he got in his car and passed away.
And we're not knocking the restaurant.
No.
The food was good.
Yeah.
It just, when we go on these trips, we like to find places that you can't find anywhere else, that have, outstanding food. The food was good. So
yeah.
But we ate there more for the fact that it's the last place Hank Sr. was at.
Right.
So yeah, there's always something near a track, whether it's, in the route from your home to the track or around the track itself. You don't, just have to do the NASCAR thing. But I promise, I'm going to say 85% of the time, if you can get your wife to go to a race, she will be hooked. She will be hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always told that to everybody because people have always told me, how can you get into this? This is so boring, blah, 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 blah. I get on TV. It can be a little boring because you're just watching.
When you can only see what they're showing.
Right. You can't look everywhere. Sometimes when we're watching on TV, there's a wreck. And then by the time the wreck's already happened and is done, then we get to see what happened.
Right.
At the track, you're constantly doing this number. Where's it going to happen? So it's just so much different. And you can't fathom if you enjoy cars and the old American muscle cars.
Even if you don't.
Yeah. But there's just something special about the sound of a big, huge V8 cranking up. There's just something to me. And I'm different. And my wife, she likes old cars too. So, but even if she doesn't, just watching the skill of these guys be 6 inches away from each other at 200, 150 miles an hour is just, to me, insane.
And let me tell you, it may look like they're close on TV, but it looks like they're even closer when you're in person. It looks like they're in each other's back seat. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. Absolutely crazy.
New meaning the backseat driver. We got some people that jumped in here, catching up with y'all. Our buddy Doug Jones said, "Good to see you, Faith." He's trying to learn more about NASCAR. He's just a city boy.
Yeah, well,
we know. We'll give you a pass. I'm trying to teach you if you just join me for some of these conversations. Mossberg, our buddy Mossberg, of course. Hey, the Burnett's. Good afternoon. He's tuning in. He says he's working graveyard tonight, so he was trying to squeeze in a nap, and there he goes with it. It's Bristol, baby.
There you go.
What our buddy Robert, the leader of the WTP, as I call him, the fearless leader, says, what foods do you like to pack when you go to a race, and what drinks are in the cooler?
Sandwiches and beer and some water. Drink plenty of water.
Yeah, definitely want water for sure. I mean, everybody jokes, oh, I've got a cooler full of beer. Let me tell you something. You get to one of these races, you're talking 5 hours, and you still got to drive. You start pounding beers all night, you're going to be in trouble because there are cops everywhere too.
Well, not to mention a lot of these races, it's hot.
Yes.
And that's what happened to me in the Michigan race. I did not drink enough water, and that heat got me, and I got sick from that heat, and I was chugging water, and it still wasn't enough water. So we, most of the coolers that we see packed. They have sandwiches, fruit.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you can eat out of a cooler, and it not be soggy and nasty. And then obviously there's alcohol, Cokes, water, just your normal, you know, you're taking your kid to the zoo kind of thing, but you get to bring beer this time.
One reason NASCAR went to this, and again, it's not every track. Always check your local track that you're going to. Check their policies first. They have to be soft-sided coolers.
Correct.
And they can only be a certain size. I'd have to be, and again, check your local track because some are different. I know like Eldora Speedway here in Ohio, if you go up to their concession stand, they have a beer stand, and you take your big 64 quart igloo, they'll fill it with ice and $2 Busch Lights.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm camping if we go there.
Yeah,
we're not driving nowhere.
home.
For 2 days we ain't driving. But you know, like you said, sandwiches, things that won't get
Things
peanut
that
butter
pack-
jelly. You don't want to take like lunch meat because it could get warmish, you know. But
Well,
you
again,
could.
who wants to eat mayonnaise and then sit
Right,
and eat?
Right. It is hot. The good thing is, like I said, if you go with her and I, okay, so we go to a race, I can take a cooler, but she can take one too. So like I can have a cooler full of our beer and she can have a cooler full of water. So it's a give off. But I will say every racetrack has their own little special food. Martinsville has the hot dog stand.
Yeah.
I mean,
am so
they're phenomenal.
ready.
They're like world famous for their hot dog.
I can't wait.
Daytona has some burgers that they always throw out.
Mhm.
So I always try stuff.
I don't think Bristol had anything that they were
Um,
known for food
I
wise.
don't think so either. But I know Daytona has a burger. One of them has like a chicken pimento sandwich.
Yeah.
One has Martinsville has the hot dogs. So I always tell people take your food, but support too. I mean,
Right.
buy.
Now the food and burgers obviously are going to be a little more expensive because they are specialty and they're
Yeah.
known for them.
Right. Well, but like the hot dogs at Martinsville, I think you can get 6 for $12.
Sign me up.
That's what I'm saying.
But at the same time, the food that we have gotten from the concession area has not been astronomical. And I'll preface that by, or compare that by saying we go to the hockey games here. For me to get a hot dog and fries and him to get a sandwich and fries and 2 drinks, I think it comes to what, like 30, 40
$35
for a freaking
35,
hot
40
dog and
bucks.
fries. Yeah. When we went to Bristol, I think the food we got, I don't think you ate, but I had something. I can't remember what I had now.
No, because I ate that huge breakfast before we got there.
Yeah.
So I didn't eat at the track.
No, neither one of us did.
That's right.
But-
Michigan, we did.
Yeah. But the food that we did get was, it was still comparable and it was reasonably priced. I think,
Except the beer. Because a beer at Nationwide Arena here in Columbus is $13.50 for a beer, a 24-ounce beer. I got a 24-ounce Busch Light for $6 at the race. So
well, when I'm saying it was still cheaper to eat at the,
Oh,
the
yeah, for
race
sure.
than it was at any other arena type event or venue
easy.
that we've been to.
Easy.
Even if you eat there and don't bring your own stuff. So.
And the other reason NASCAR went to allowing people, they did it not only for cost savings for fans. That was the big key. But the second key is you don't have time. If you're at Bristol or one of the short tracks, you don't have time to go to the concession stand.
No, because
You're
I think
gonna
you
miss-
missed a big. You ended up leaving to get me something to drink, and I think you missed like a big chunk of the race just waiting to get the drink and come back.
That was at Michigan.
Yeah.
And that was a 2-mile track. At Bristol, I think I missed about 10 laps.
Yeah.
At Michigan. And
Trying to
in
get
Bristol,
more.
I would have lost about 30 to 40
Yeah.
laps
Yeah,
because the laps are 15 seconds at Bristol and they're about 45 seconds at Michigan.
Right.
So, that's one reason you don't like to, that's why you take your own food and drinks, but water for sure. Definitely, please take water. Most of these races are mid-afternoon races. You can catch some night races.
bring sunscreen.
And sunscreen, most definitely. Sunscreen, water. I understand you want to drink your beer. That's fine. Sunscreen, water, definitely hydrate because it gets hot in the middle of the day. Bristol was nice at night. It was a nice.
I think that's another reason I liked Bristol so much because it was night and it was cooler.
And there's night races throughout the year. There's about 7 to 10 of them out of 36. So you can find one if you want to go to a night race. You can find a night race. But yeah, sunscreen for sure. Y'all, funny story. We got back from Michigan and I was sitting down and we got back literally on my knees. If you sit in your chair and you look down at your leg where your shorts would end to the knee was bright red. Everything else still regular. That bright red, and it hurt like because every time you put your pants on, they rub right there on the knees. Brother, I was like dying, wishing I had some sunscreen.
It was quite comical.
I don't know. I think it's fun. I think it's the best experience for a sporting event based on you're up and close personal with the drivers. You can go, like I said, you can do the add-ons and go to driver intros. And the drivers throw stuff out to the crowd. They high-five people.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that if we go to the Blue Jackets games. We're season ticket holders. We don't have that access to the players.
No.
We don't have it at the baseball games. When we used to go to the Ranger games all the time in Dallas.
Once a year. Once a year we had it at the Rangers game.
Oh, that's because we went to the Fan Fest.
Yeah, that's
but
what
the
I'm saying.
games,
But
we never.
the games you don't.
No. I mean, I get that some people sign autographs and stuff, but it's not like this.
No, this is more of a family affair. I mean, that's the best way to say it. Even with the drivers, like if you see them out and about on the what is the word I'm looking? The midway area.
Yeah, the fanfare.
And you yell out, "Hey, Blaney, have a great day," or whatever. He'll stop and say thank you or wave or whatever. He won't just ignore you like he didn't hear you. When they're answering questions on the stage, they take the feedback from the crowd. And even with all those people there, you're still close enough to them on the stage that if he was to spit when he talked, you could probably get hit with it.
Well, and NASCAR also takes their fans' opinions to heart. Like this year, they're changing the whole playoff format. Well, a lot of fans were screaming they wanted it changed.
Yeah.
Well, NASCAR heard that and said, okay, we need to do something. We got some pissed off fans. They made adjustments. That's one thing I like. The NFL doesn't do that. NBA doesn't do that. Major League Baseball doesn't do that. None of them do that. So to me, that's important. And it doesn't matter. I mentioned at St. Louis with Bryson, our son. I had on my Harvick shirt. It was his last year racing. And I walked up to Eric Jones's little booth, and Eric Jones is standing out there, driver of a Toyota. Harvick drove a Ford. Signed my autograph right there. Didn't care. I had a Harvick shirt on. Took a picture with me. I got the picture on my phone still. The drivers understand that fans may not be fans of theirs.
Right. But they're NASCAR fans.
Right. And that's helping them no matter what. So it's just neat to see the interaction between the superstars of the sport and the fans is not as far off as it is other sports. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, post game, Mr. and Mrs. SEC.
Negative.
Adam, our buddy Adam, Faith. Yeah, she's the one behind this. Like I said, I wanted to get a female's perspective because I think guys can seem to make it bigger than it really is when they're talking about their favorite sports. But I think we all know women kind of keep it grounded. So getting your opinion on it was important, I think, for my channel and for my discussion on it, so that people can understand what it is. It's not just sitting on your hands and butt for 5 hours watching cars in circles.
That was my go-to when I went into it. But once you get there, like I said, the experience from start to finish there's so much. And it seems overwhelming, but it really, once you get into it, it's not. And just watching the race itself I would recommend taking your wife to a short track for her first race.
Most
If
definitely.
you're going to take her, because she can see the whole race the whole time. Where if you take her to a larger track, she can only see half the race half the time, because once they get on the back straightaway, you can't really see anything. And if you want to suck them in, take them to a short track, because they're not going to miss anything.
Yeah, and the reason you can't see normally the back of the track at some of the bigger ones is because NASCAR has got this weird thing where they get all their infield of the track is covered with campers.
Yeah.
And it's not, like we can get a
They're
camper and go park.
motorhomes,
Yeah,
they're not
motorhome.
campers.
But we can go park down there, and then people sit on top of them to watch the race. So just always remember, if you're going to look for a race, I would suggest a short track. And you people can post comments on this if they want about what are some good short tracks, and we've given you a few. Most of the ones my wife mentioned are short tracks. Pocono's the tricky triangle that's here in the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania, and it's literally a triangle. But most of the ones I think you mentioned, which ones did you have listed?
I had Dover, Pocono, Richmond, Darlington, and Bristol.
Yeah. Pocono's the only one that's not a short track that's on that list. Dover is a concrete 1 mile track. It's a cool track. Dover, Delaware. Darlington is the one that's shaped like an egg, because the guy who sold him the land said, "Don't destroy my minnow pond." So they had to make one in smaller so he could still have his minnows. That's NASCAR right there. Some of these infields are massive. Daytona and Talladega, you can put every SEC football stadium inside of the racetrack.
I have no desire to go to either one of those.
Daytona, I do, just because it's Daytona.
I understand. It's just too big for me.
Yeah,
that one, I guarantee you, is too many people for me.
Yeah, that one would be overwhelming, probably even for me. But it is the granddaddy, the Super Bowl of NASCAR. So I've always wanted to go. But Talladega, hell, they have an airstrip in the back they can land a 747 on, so that tells you how big that place is. But the short tracks for sure, 100%. I agree with that. Just remember, get your race, and as soon as you do, find you a hotel.
Yeah, the earlier you book, the better. They're still going to be expensive, but they're not going to be near as expensive as closer to the race, and you're risking not finding anything even nearby if you wait too close to the race.
And even as bougie as she is with hotels, she understands that on race weekend, look, we're just passed out. We're just passing out somewhere. So as long as there's no
critters,
pets running around the room, she's pretty cool. But yeah, so always remember to get your hotel. But remember, when you're looking at now, if you get them free off the Fan Rewards app, you're kind of getting whatever they give you. But we've always had good luck.
Yeah,
We've gotten good
both
seats.
times we got really good seats. The only thing I hate is you can't. I want the aisle seats so I can
Right.
get out if I need to get out. I don't like to climb over people.
But if you go to my channel and watch some of the videos I've posted of races we've been to, you'll see the seats we're sitting in, and you'll realize that those were free seats. But if you're going to pay for your seats, the higher up you go in NASCAR is more expensive. In other sporting events, it's reversed. It's backwards from like basketball, where nosebleed is the cheapest. Well, in NASCAR, nosebleed is the most expensive because you can see everything. But some of these places to go up to the high levels is going to take a little while.
Michigan was rough.
Bristol, I think, Michigan was rough because when we went up the steps, it was like this. And then to get to our seats, the steps went like this.
Yeah.
And that's where it killed her. Bristol was rough on you walking because we weren't really prepared for. Bristol's in the mountains. So I'm telling you, to get to your entrance, you're going around the track like this. Even though the track is flat, you're walking up like this. It
wasn't necessarily. Now, I'm a big girl. Okay, there's nothing about me that likes the word exercise. We have to mask it with doing things like this, where you have to walk a lot. With Bristol, it wasn't stairs. It was like ramps, so to speak, to get up to the stadium area. The perk was, I was too stubborn to use it, but the perk was, they had trams and buses that would truck you from the bottom to the top and back, to get from, the fan area up to the actual track area. Next time we go, I will be utilizing that. I will not be doing those hills again. I am too fat for that. So that's another thing, if you or your spouse is someone who's like, we can't do this because, health wise, we can't get up there, or, just fitness wise in general. Yes, you can, because they make it easy for you to get there. You just have to accept the help.
They have trams. So. They have all of that stuff. I mean, parking. They'll have a spot where you can go wait for the tram. For us, we just normally find Bob's house across the street and take $20 to park in his yard.
Yeah, that's the best part.
That's the best way. But they normally sit outside drinking and partying, watching your car. Though.
On that note, I will say, if you're going to a race, if you're going the day of the race, go early enough to scout out the parking areas. Because if you wait till later in the day to try to figure out where to park, we saw people in Bristol that were parking along the side of the highway, and the side of the road, because there was nowhere else to park. Yeah. So definitely scout your parking areas ahead of time. Like he was saying, we got lucky because there were some people there were several houses that across the street from the stadium or the track, that were very smart entrepreneurs and turn their front and backyards into parking lots for $25.
Yeah.
And so we just used that.
And they literally were sitting out with a fire pit all night long, sitting there talking, listening to music, drinking. They're not going to go to sleep because they live across from a racetrack.
Exactly.
So they're not going to sleep. So they might as well. I mean, I think it was $20 is what it was.
We paid $25.
And I bet you there was probably 50 to 60 cars on that property. Because it went further back than we were.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I think there was more because it not only went back, but they also had that side spot.
Even call it 100 cars. That was, $2,500 that they made.
Just for letting people park.
Just for letting people park. So
scout your parking. Definitely
for sure. I always say go a couple of days. That's why we go, because we drive to see how far, what route to take to get to there.
Right. But, those people that have to go the day of the race and come back, just go early enough that you can scout for parking. Yeah. Parking can be very tricky. In Michigan
is wide open, though. They have parking everywhere. Remember, we just pulled up, went right in, parked.
I was going to say, in Michigan, they have actual parking on the premises.
Right.
Where Bristol
does, but it's on the back side.
Yeah.
It was
crazy expensive.
It
was cheaper to park off site. So,
it's.
And I think the day we went to Michigan, they weren't even charging for parking.
No, some tracks don't. Worldwide Technology outside of St. Louis, they didn't charge for parking. A bunch of tracks don't. Some do, some don't. It's iffy. It's 6-7. Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
So but if you're going the day of and the race is at 3:00, I'm telling you, get there 10, 11 o'clock. You think, God, that's a long. No,
because by the time you get parked, walk to the track, do all of the fan stuff outside, excuse me, grab something to eat if you want something to eat or something to drink or whatever. Excuse me, I should have water. No. I think we sat down 45 minutes before the race actually started.
Roughly.
Even getting there at 10 and the race was at 3. So.
I mean, the good thing too is, like, say the Michigan race. That's probably the closest track to us here in Columbus. It's 2 hours,
Yeah.
2.5 roughly. Indianapolis is 3-ish. So, but you have a couple. Michigan to me is the closest. You don't even have to go to the race. You can just drive up to Michigan if you want it on race day, park for free, and walk through the fan zone and then leave.
Yeah.
The fan zone's free. You don't have to have a ticket to get into the fan zone at any of these. That's
Right.
all free.
Right.
The only thing you need a ticket for is to get inside the building.
But why would you go that far and not go to the race?
Well, but if you didn't have, if you wanted just to go get that experience,
No,
to
I get
see,
it. I get it.
Before you decide to go, like we'll take Adam for example, him and Whitney. If they wanted to drive up to see what the fan experience was like before they bought tickets for the next year's race, then
Right.
They could do that and it'd be free, except for the drive.
Right.
But yeah, so that's really about it. We're running up on about an hour. Just, like I said, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. You see all the channels rolling along the bottom down there. Go like, subscribe, hit the little notification bell so you'll know when we go live. I'm going to wind up going live probably one day next week, during the week, to kind of do my preview for who I think will make the playoffs, the chase for the championship, who I think is going to make it. And then from that point, next Sunday, we have 1 week until they race at Bowman Gray Stadium for the Clash. We're about 3.5, 4 weeks away from racing at Daytona, so it's creeping up pretty fast. But like I said, I appreciate you joining me to kind of give a female's perspective on what it's like. It's good input. You gave a lot of good advice to people, I think, more than I would have, because I would have never thought about some of that stuff. So, there's 6 other episodes of this posted on my YouTube channel. Go watch them from the beginning, get all the knowledge you need, leave comments. I check the comments when I see notifications on them. I'll respond. Go like and subscribe to all of us, and y'all go enjoy some NFL playoff football this fine Sunday, and we'll catch up next week. Peace.